Welcome back to Raw AI Solutions, the podcast where we explore how business leaders are navigating the fast-moving world of AI and digital transformation. I'm your host, Denise Powell, and today we are joined by Kevin McGrath, co-founder and CEO of Meibel. Kevin, welcome to the podcast.
Denise, thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Great. Kevin, would you like to kick us off and tell us a little bit about yourself and your company?
Sure. So again, Kevin McGrath, CEO of Mabel. We are a runtime platform for product and engineering teams to build generative AI applications. The reason teams use us is because they get to deploy and measure AI with confidence in production. So it's not just about getting AI to work and give you an answer. How consistent are those answers over time? Is it actually applying the data and the policies that you want to AI, or those are actually showing up in the output? And our platform gives engineers an API that handles all the infrastructure and all the capabilities to make that happen.
Excellent. Well, tell us about your journey. How did you get to starting Meibel?
That's a fun and interesting one. So not to go back to the beginning of time, but years and years. I'm dating myself now, but if we go back 20 or 30 years, when I was a kid in high school, I started my own company. So I kind of always had this entrepreneurial bug, but it didn't take off. It wasn't VC funded at the time, anything like that. But me and a couple buddies from high school got together and we built a company called BAKNet. BAKNET. It stood for Brad, Alex, and Kevin at the time. And we built web pages for local area businesses, and we hosted them. And in my dad's basement, I had like servers lining, part of my dad's basement, and I rerouted his air conditioning to like blow over some of them during the summer at one point in time. That had mild success. It actually paid bills for kids. For kids, it did well. So I always kind of had that bug to go start something. I did work in kind of more traditional, enterprises and things for a while. We won't go along the long winding career, but then I ended up at a startup, SpotInst, run by Amram, and he had me over, and I had a great experience at SpotInst. Getting back into that startup world was truly exciting for me. And learning a lot, again, about what it is to start a business and grow a business. We exited to NetApp. And then after exiting to NetApp, one person who was working with us at Spot at the time, who had left to AWS, Kieran, my co-founder, calls up and says, "Hey, Kevin, I got an idea." And so instead of sticking around on the enterprise side of things, I got the bug to get back down into the startup world. I love building things. My co-founder loves building things. And more important than that, we love building things that put a smile on customers' faces. When someone uses your product and that product enables them to do something they've never been able to do before, kind of like we did at Spot and other companies. But like when you can build something like that, that's transformational for somebody else, there's no better energy for that in the world, right? And I love that energy. My co-founder loves that energy. And this is really Kieran's idea. And Kieran, while he was working in AI and while he was building AI, he was realizing there was this huge gap for product and engineering teams to measure what they deploy, have confidence in what they deploy. And to do that, if you don't set up the infrastructure properly and you don't actually track how data is being applied in the correct ways, you won't get that output at the end. So that was the genesis for what we're doing. It was very exciting for me at the time as generative AI is taking off. It was the right person at the right time. And I love this space. I love being in the startup world. So all those stars kind of aligned at once. And here we are.
And how long ago was that when you started Meibel?
Sorry?
How long was that when you started Meibel?
It was a year and a half ago. So when we started Mabel was about a year and a half ago. And we did a lot in stealth mode. So we were building and we were pushing the story as much as possible in the beginning. We came out of stealth mode with our first paying customers. So while we were in stealth mode for about 8 to 9 months, we were able to get people using the platform, doing proof of concepts with us, getting them to production. Once we were able to get a couple customers to production, we came out of stealth mode. And we've been out of stealth mode since late last calendar year. And now we're growing. Just got our first price round a couple months ago, led by Mosaic General Partners. And we're looking to scale.
Well, congratulations. That's excellent.
Thank you.
Well, today's topic, we're going to be discussing IT strategy, what that really looks like beyond the next shiny tool. So, Kevin, it'll be interesting to see, have you seen any major shifts in this area over the last 12 months?
Wow. I think AI changes every other week sometimes, let alone the past 12 months. But over the past 12 months, I think what you've really seen is that people are trying to productionize AI, and they're using a lot of different methods to go about doing that, right? It's really, really compelling, the original results that you can get. So when you take an LLM and you fire a question at it or you fire a prompt at it, it's amazing how fast and how mostly accurate that it can be with an answer.
Mm.
And that's good if you put disclaimers on things and you say, hey, double check all these answers and do all these other things.
Yeah.
If you're double checking AI all the time, though, is AI really giving you the efficiency and benefit of what you need? What you need to do. I mean, it does help with like creation and a little bit of ideation and stuff, and maybe it gets you past a block. But if you're constantly checking it with human eyes every single time, is that really going to unlock the efficiencies of scale that you want AI? And I think over the past 12 months, a lot of what people are working on and pushing towards is how do you operationalize AI to actually automate it in ways that we've automated things in the past. And those are big things that we work on at Meibel too, and helping our customers. How do you let AI work at scale for you without having to have a human sit on every single output to make sure every single output is correct? Mm-hmm. How are you checking those outputs in aggregate? How are you checking the deltas of that? How are you checking, certain scenarios and not every single thing that comes out of the other side? And how do you run that at scale? And then how do you drive efficiency in your business that way? So I think a lot of work is going into that. A lot of work is going into how to connect to all these different data sources that organizations have, and how do you take data that was once unstructured, and then how do you make that into structured information that actually you can build products and move your business forward on. And we at Meibel, we call that structurable data. And we have a lot of our customers have these treasure troves of unstructured information sitting around their businesses that can absolutely transform how they do business in the future. They just need to unlock it. And it's not about necessarily removing the human from the loop, because the human wasn't doing the job in the first place, but enabling what hiring 1,000 humans would have done, but using AI to do that and then augment the process around your business from there. So I think there's a lot of exciting things happening over the past 12 months, let alone how advanced the models are getting and everything else like that in the industry.
And so what are you guys doing to stay ahead of the curve with AI changing so rapidly?
You got to be in it. You just got to live it. You got to be in every moment. We're building with it, around it, where every single day is AI to us. I think there's a few things with AI. Like if you're going to embrace AI, you have to welcome it into your life. I think AI is one of those things like the internet in the early days. So dating myself a little bit, but my generation, I grew up without the internet when I was a young kid. And then we had the internet. But I was young enough that adoption curve for me was fairly smooth. In fact, I embraced it and I thought it was one of the best things in the world. And it's propelled my career forward in ways, that have been amazing for me by embracing kind of that technology. So looking through my eyes, I kind of see AI in the same way. The people who embrace AI, and if you start using it, you will start reading about it, you will start understanding it, you will start opening your mind to more about what's going on. So I think the first step about AI is to use it, and you need to use it every day because it's here. And like the internet, it's not going away. The people who shook their fists at the internet or said it was a fad or said it was this or that, the other, like they're behind the curve, or they ended up behind the curve. Maybe they caught up, but they were behind for a while. It's going to be the same with AI. You either adopt it and you understand it and you start being comfortable with how it works, the good, the bad, and learning how to live with it, or you don't. And I think going back to your original question, that's how you stay up with it, right? Like you start using it you start understanding it and you start growing curiosity about it, and you'll naturally kind of fall into these areas where you'll start consuming more and more information about it. So that's how we stay up with it. We live with it every day. I can't say like, hey, there's one news source or one thing that we go to all the time. It's just you make it part of your world, and it becomes it.
So I think the one thing about AI, it's got a bad reputation out there in a lot of areas and a really great one in other areas. But the thing is about when you're adopting AI, because we all should be, it's just how do you do that responsibly? What have you seen others do, and what do you insist on has to happen in order to work with AI responsibly?
Yeah, I think, with any technology, there's marketing hype versus reality, right? And I think we always get in front of that curve, right? There's always going to be, AGI is, a year away. It's not. It's just not. I'm not saying we're not going to get there, but it's not a year away, right? Mm-hmm. So you got to kind of separate some of the marketing fluff that's out there of where the dreamers think we'll be in like 6 months. And we need the dreamers. Like, we all want to be somewhere in 6 months that we're not today. The reality is, that it takes a little bit longer to get there. I mean, look at self-driving cars, for instance. I mean, they were next year for the past 10 years. And it's not that we won't get to self-driving cars. There is a future of self-driving cars. It just takes, that last 20%, as they say, takes 80% of the work. So it takes time to get there. So if you're using AI today, especially when we talk to our customers, there's two different ways. How do you personally use AI, and how our customers, because we build for businesses and businesses to build products off of. So first, for personal use of AI, you're a smart person. Don't let AI just tell you what to do, especially if you're just firing questions at a large language model that's there to serve the entire world. Mm-hmm. You should look at that with a little bit of scrutiny, and you should use your own common sense when kind of reading those answers. And you should use it as a tool to get your brain thinking in a new and faster way than it was before. But if AI says something that seems, a little off, like, it might be a little off, right? For our customers, how we help them do that at scale is we're helping ground their data in context and use AI to do things like entity extraction, entity classification, summarizations, different things they need to do with their proprietary data. And what we do is we have about 14 different metrics that we track back to, hey, is this answer grounded in the context of your data? Out of the realm of possible answers, how good is this answer out of the realm of possible answers that we see? So we have a lot of different machine learning, natural language processing, and other LLM judges that not only track how well the answer is, but we also look at how the data is put in and presented to the LLM. Yeah. And then we're looking at, at a token level, how many tokens are matching in different things from the inputs to the outputs to ensure that customers are getting the answers they want at scale. And how we do that is it's usually more of a narrow use case. So with our customers, they're not looking to make an LLM that's trying to answer any question in the world. So like when we go to ChatGPT or Claude or any of these tools, we're trying to go to an LLM that will answer anything in the world. If you narrow that scope of what you want AI to do, you can get more accurate and kind of more definitive answers than if you're trying to make an AI that'll literally answer anything. So with our customers, we want to make sure their data is the ground truth of what is being represented in the responses from AI. We want to make sure that there's an SME that has trained and narrowed the scope of what that AI is supposed to do. So it's not hallucinating outside of the realm of where it exists. And we want to make sure it's consistent with the answers that they want to see going forward. So it's kind of two different things. From a personal level, you kind of want to use that brain when you're working with an LLM that's looking at the whole world. For our customers, we want to work on narrow use cases, and we want to limit the scope of what AI is performing and getting done, so it can do that repetitive motion at scale and you can be confident in it.
Interesting that you mentioned data there. Do you go into clients and have a look at the data and able to assess what state the data is in? Is this good data? Is it bad data? You really got to clean up your data.
Right. So there are companies that do that, and we partner with organizations that do that. One of our partners, Cloud 11, is very good at that, actually based out of the UK. So we work with partners who will go in and take a look at the data. Where we specialize is in how data is actually presented to the LLM. So there are two steps to this process. One, do you have good data? You're really the only person who can tell us if you have good data or not. Like even just taking an LLM off the street and saying, is my data good or bad, is not going to know without proper training, know-how, and everything else. And I think that's a problem that exists from now to the end of time. And there's two ways to go about that. One, you can stop everything and starting to say, okay, I'm going to clean up my data. Or you can get your data to a good enough state that now you can start presenting it to the LLMs correctly. And that's where Meibel steps in. And then how you can kind of figure that out is if you're looking at the answers that are coming out the other side and the answers aren't as consistent as you want it to be, what Meibel can help you do is track those answers back to the exact sentence or source or vectors that those answers came from. And then you can decide if the data is good or not. So you can attack it from two different angles. I would caution people to say like, hey, we got to go through an entire cleansing process before we go to AI. I would say let's be very prescriptive about what we want to do with AI, take a limited data set and start with AI and then work on both in parallel. But yes, if you feed bad data in, just like if you if you go to school and you have a teacher that teaches you all the wrong information, like then that's not a good thing. You do have to feed good information into the AI. And that's why we say you should have limited scopes on what you do. Like I'm trying to solve X. I'm trying to solve entity extraction out of hundreds of thousands of PDFs and product documentation. I am trying to do classification on hundreds of thousands of medical records, right? Like I'm trying to do very specific things, and then you can have very specific outputs and very specific data inputs. And I think that's the best place to start.
So if we ever look at AI as like the next shiny tool and we look at IT strategy, where do you think AI slots into the new IT strategy? I mean, what systems are a thing of the past now and we really just need to move on? Like an example, data lakes or data warehouses,
right.
Or, your SaaS systems. Is that a thing of the past or is that still going to be a main front? How do you see
you still got to store the data somewhere. The data, the storage companies are going to win. GPU companies are going to win, right? The data still has to be stored somewhere. How we store and how we use our data is changing, right? I think one of the biggest changes and what we push for on Meibel is going back to that structurable, right? You don't necessarily have to take your data and convert it to a million different formats just to store it and understand how it exists. But now you can take data, understand the structure to it, and now you want to store it in a way that can be presented to an LLM properly. And that means either vectorizing it, citating it, understanding the relationships in your data. So one of the things about AI is when your context windows get too big, and by context windows, I mean like you're just trying to shove too much data, right? Like, so if you take all your data in your organization, just try shove it at an LLM, it's not going to work. Your context windows, different things are going to blow up along the way. It's not going to make the right connections. So how you want to think about your data today is my data in a place that it can be presented to an LLM in the correct way. And at Meibel, what we do is we take a look at data, decide how it should be stored before it's presented to an LLM, and then on retrieval, present that data to the LLM in the correct way. What I mean by that is find citations amongst your data ahead of time. Understand what you should vectorize and what you shouldn't vectorize. Should you do topic analysis and sentiment analysis before going to an LLM for the use case that you want to do? There's a lot of different things you can do in quote unquote data prep before retrieval that'll make your retrieval a lot more effective. Meibel does this a lot automatically, but there's a lot of things that you can do on your own to do that. But if you're just taking data or you're just hooking up an MCP and throwing it at an LLM, your use cases are going to be pretty finite in what you can do with AI overall.
Mm-hmm. And so with that, just pointing at LLM and saying, right, give me a prompt and give me an output of information. One thing, I think there needs to be an education happening in the market. And this is where I'd love your viewpoint on this. People need to be educated about what data you're actually exposing and where you're exposing it to, because you could really be opening up your organization.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. I think governance is a huge thing. And again, at Meibel, not to talk just about the product, but at Meibel, we get down to like, we want people to be able to redact like literally sentences out of documents. That's how the platform is architected. So you can like redact a vector. So if you don't present something to the LLM, then the LLM won't know about it. And I think that's the best protection is don't show it to the LLM. The LLM won't know. Not everybody gets this reference. So have you seen the movie Memento?
No.
So, okay, I was using this reference, and then it came up in a talk by someone much smarter than me, but I think this is one of the best references going around right now. So, Memento is about a guy who has no long-term memory. He wakes up every morning and doesn't know about the day before unless he looks at all the tattoos that he's been putting on his body. And it's kind of a crime caper movie as well. So, he's trying to solve a crime. So, when he wakes up in the morning, he has no memory. He looks at these tattoos all over his body, starts piecing everything together. Right? LLMs are kind of the same way. If the LLM wakes up in the morning and they aren't given context of the tattoos, then they don't know about the tattoos and they don't know what's going on and they just know what they were trained on, right? So I think a very, very important thing is if you have data in your organization that you don't want presented to the LLM, do not present it to the LLM. And I think that's one of the biggest things when I talk about data preparation as well, is you can't just take things and tell the LLM not to do certain things with the data. Once it sees it, it's in the brain and it knows about it, and it could go, down a path you don't want it to go down. So data preparation on how you take your data and how you present it to the LLM is insanely important. And if you haven't seen Memento, go see it. It's a great movie.
How are you finding companies out there? Do they realize they actually need the service?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of companies are looking at AI and asking their teams one of two things. They're either asking their employees and their engineers to use AI to sit next to them and be more efficient. Those are things like co-pilots or using an LLM just to help you write better or put a presentation together better and things like that. And those are super awesome. We use LLMs for that all the time. And then there's another group of organizations that are saying AI is going to transform how we do business. Like just full stop, it's going to transform how we do business. How are we updating our products? Think about the construction industry that passes PDFs and Excel files and Word documents. Like there's a multi-billion-dollar industry that works with just unstructured data being passed around all over the place. Like very little of it is structured and relational at the end of the day, but there's tons of structure and relation inside those documents. And AI can push that industry forward in a way that's never been able to be happen before, because you can automate basically what you haven't been able to automate, like eyeballs reading over something, understanding what it is, how to take context over it, get it to the next step in kind of nanoseconds. Those are the things that when companies really look at what they have and how they can change how they do business, but they don't have to change how their industry works, I think you're going to see amazing, amazing things come out of AI. And there are people in these industries that haven't necessarily picked up the latest and greatest technology from years before that are looking at AI and going, this is the thing. This is what I need. My team has seen compelling results, but they don't know how to get it to the finish line. Help me get it to the finish line. And when we run into a situation like that, I think it's amazing for both sides.
Yeah. Because I also find, especially the clients that I deal with, they want AI, but they don't know what AI is out there that can absolutely help them. They know that they want AI, they know they need it, and they're just like, well, where in our business can we actually apply it that's going to make a massive impact?
Right.
Do you help those organizations out at that level?
Again, we usually partner at that level. So we're looking at partners. I'm usually not walking into a scenario that says like, all right, blank slate. What do we want to do with AI today? Where can it apply to your business? Don't get me wrong. I have thoughts and opinions on that. But being at a startup that needs to be narrowly focused, like we're really focused, like once you have a problem that you want to solve with AI, we will actually get you to the finish line on that instead of your product and engineering team trying to figure it out on their own. They can use Mabel and we can get it to production fairly quickly. I would say if you're still trying to figure out where to use AI in your business, there are some great, go find, get a consultant, get somebody in the space who has seen what other companies have do and what success they've been able to run, and for your organization, figure out where that's best. I think if you want, again, going back to, one of my answers before, if you want to figure out where AI is good, start using it. Like if you're talking to people or you're asking, how do I use AI in my business? And you're not using AI right now, you're not going to be successful. Like you're just not. Like if you're a leader of a company, you're going, okay, how do we use AI? And you don't sit down and use AI every day, you've lost.
Yeah. I've also noticed quite a few clients, they go, well, let's just see what our competitors are going to do first. They're not doing anything. There's no rush for us to enter into the market. But according to statistics, in the first year, you don't see much. But in the second year, that's when it really embeds and you see AI really start to take off. And so if you're starting to look at your competitors that way, it might not appear that they've got AI or that they're running forward with it. But by the time you actually catch up to them, they are already well ahead in the distance. What would you say about looking at the peers and what your sector is actually doing around AI?
Yeah, I don't think you should be on the sidelines. That's for sure. I think how much money you're investing towards it, if you're a skeptical person, right? That's fine. You can be skeptical of new technology, but I think it's a fool's errand not to do anything about it. You take 5% of your budget, maybe up to 10%. If you want to go back to like the whole, what is it, Harvard Review, where you have your Horizon 1, Horizon 2, Horizon 3, and you know where you put money in those buckets. Yeah. You should always have money in that Horizon 3 bucket. And that Horizon 3 bucket better be AI nowadays. So, I even take a look at, you take a look at like Toyota with EVs, right? Like Toyota for years, we're not going to do EV. We're not doing a full EV. We're not doing a full EV. They're coming out with like 3 new EVs this year. Now, whether EV takes off or not, Toyota, while they said, hey, we're more on hydrogen than EVs, they did not spend any money on EVs, right? Like they kept spending money there because their competitors invested in it hard. Now, what the future is there or not, that's, we can go into an EV debate like a whole nother time. But the point is to say like we're not going to invest in this technology, a lot of my competitors, or I see where the industry moving is, that I think that's a huge mistake. You got to put some money there. Even Toyota, who put most of their money in hydrogen and other ways of renewable energy to work with cars, is still investing in EVs, even though they've kind of like, they talked that down for years. And you got to place, it's a technology, it's here. People like it. People are consuming it. It's a way to make your business better. You got to invest in some level in it. And if you're a skeptic and you're not using it, that's the worst, because you actually have no idea what you're being a skeptic about.
Yeah, I fully agree with you there. Yeah. So looking ahead at the next stage of growth for Meibel, where do you see Meibel being in the next 6 to 12 months?
Scaling. We want to be the leader, and we think we are the leader in runtime platforms for generative AI. We're not necessarily vertical specific, but we want customers across many different verticals using our platform to generate new products within their industries. We're working with customers in the finance space, the healthcare space, construction space, logistics space, government opportunities. And we want to see all of those expand. We want to see our customers creating things for their industries that they never thought possible, built on Meibel. And Meibel is the platform that is accelerating all of these different product and engineering teams to move forward with generative AI in a way that they never thought they could move towards in production before, and have companies be able to utilize their unstructured data in a way that they never thought possible to generate new revenue streams, to make products better, to be ahead of those competitors that don't adopt AI. We want to partner and work with those organizations. So I see a bright future for Meibel. We're very, very excited to be working with the partners and customers that we have today. And in 6 to 12 months, I just want to be growing, and I want to be helping customers deliver in ways that they didn't think was possible a year ago.
Excellent. And what kind of challenges are blocking you from getting there at this point?
Oh, fingers to keyboard. I don't know. We got to get out there. I think we have a great platform. We're getting a lot of great feedback from our current customers on features that they want added to the platform. So you're going to see a lot from us coming out over the next 6 to 12 months on feature enhancements and new features being added to the platform pretty much every month for the next 12 months. Mm-hmm. And I think the sky's the limit. We're in a greenfield space. The boxes haven't even really been that well defined for where these things are going to live in AI going forward. I think we want to help define the actual execution of generative AI in production, that runtime box. We want to define that, and we want to take it and we want to run with it. And again, we want to help customers get there. So I think the only thing blocking us is, as many ideas as other people have for their industries to implement generative AI. And again, we'll help out people along the way. But once someone starts implementing generative AI, we believe we're a perfect fit to help that engineering team get to the finish line. So I think we kind of have this open field. We just got to go get it. Our destiny's in front of us. We just got to grab it.
Yeah. And you're well positioned to do it, which is fantastic.
We hope so.
And so, if you had to resolve one issue at a click of a finger, what would that issue be?
Resolve one issue in the click of a finger. What would that be? You know what? Like, I still can't get to inbox 0 in my email, no matter how much AI or other tools or different things I use. Like, I have been trying every now and then, every few months, I get to inbox 0, to be honest with you. I still can't get there. Like, and the reason I'm thinking about this is before we got on this podcast this morning, I looked at my inbox and was like, I got to triage this thing again. And like, no matter how much automation and things I put around my email, I still can't get to inbox 0. And so like, if I could figure out how to get to inbox 0 every morning, that would be an amazing thing for me. And it was the pain I was having directly before getting on this call.
I'll tell you what, I agree with you there. Absolutely. We need to up the game in AI there.
There we go. There's a startup idea for somebody.
So Kevin, before we wrap up, what's one piece of advice you would have given yourself before you ventured on the journey of Meibel?
A piece of advice I'd given myself before Meibel. That's a great question. I think, just be ready. Don't be afraid to move faster than you think you need to move. I think we stayed in stealth mode maybe a little bit too long. I think we could have come out sooner. Maybe we could have raised money a little bit sooner. I think maybe we wanted to make sure, even if it wasn't perfect product market fit, we wanted to make sure that we had the right traction and right things before moving. I think as fast as the AI space is moving, if I could have given myself a piece of advice is, move fast. Just move. You feel like you're moving fast, but move even faster than you think you need to move. Like, truly, I think that is. I think, in hindsight being what it is, I think, we probably could have came in out of stealth faster, started adding customers faster, doing a lot of other things faster. I think in hindsight, you look at that stuff. So if I were giving a piece of my advice to myself, it'd be, you think you're moving fast. You're not moving fast enough. Move faster.
Love that. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for that. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. And for those of you who would like to learn more about Meibel or reach out to Kevin directly, you can find the details below in the description. But Kevin, once again, thank you so much. And we're wishing you all the best.
Thank you very much, Denise. Thanks for having me.